welcome back to my channel. My name's Elle. So I know this looks kind of weird, but this is all the merch I bought for the BTS World Tour arirang in Goyang. So these are going to be the Korea exclusives, and then I bought, other stuff, and I thought we could go through them together today. So starting off this first item, I did buy the green zip up hoodie that is the Korea exclusive. I did already wore this out, so that's why it looks like this. It was folded a lot nicer when I first got it, but as most BTS merch does, it does come in the bag with the tags and everything. So this is what it looks like. It has a full zipper and it does say 26 on the front, goyang, Busan, and then it does say in the back, it does say Korea, which is really cool. And on the side, on the sleeve, it has the BTS World Tour arirang patch. And it's funny because originally I got this in a size medium. It's right there. And I'll get to the sizing in a second, but it's funny because originally I wasn't planning on buying this because green is not necessarily a color that I really gravitates to. But the day I got to Korea, when I was walking from the subway station back to my hotel, because the sales had started the day prior, I saw some girls walking by, and one of them was actually wearing this hoodie, and it looked really good on her. And I feel like the green, once you see it in person, looks a little different than what those first concept pictures Big Hit drops it looked like. So I was like, wait, actually I think I'm gonna have to get it. And so I did. I bought it. I went and I was able to do the pickup, which I'm really grateful for. So I didn't have to do the whole merch line. But I will say, for the size, if you are potentially planning on going or are going to Festa in June, I'm assuming they're going to have this hoodie again. So just be careful because they do run pretty big. I do like my merch to be oversized. So usually, because I assumed it was going to be Korean sizing, I got this in a medium, and it is a lot bigger than I thought it would have been. I still like the fit to it because I do like that pretty oversized fit. But if you're not that into the bigger styles, I would recommend just getting your size. Usually I would be a small size, and I feel like the small size would have fit perfectly fine and even a little baggy. So just be aware of that if you aren't really into the super oversized look. I think for the US or the North America portion of the tour, the merch unfortunately does start at a medium size, which I don't necessarily know how I feel about that, but we'll see when I get to that stop of the tour how my NA merch fits. But yeah, the Korea merch definitely runs a lot bigger than expected. And for the other Korea exclusive item, I did buy the t-shirt as well. This was originally the one item that I really wanted, so I was very excited that I was able to get it. So it says arirang World Tour Korea. Again, it does say goyang Busan, so assuming they will have this one more time for Festa. Again, this is a medium. This I am a little bummed over because it is a little too long for my liking. So again, for this one specifically, I think I would have been better off getting the small size, but I'd already placed my pickup order when I realized, and the extra small and the small were already sold out, so I wasn't going to cancel my order for the medium. But yeah, so this is the front, and then the stars are actually like little pins, like metallic almost, which I think is really cute. And then the back is just the plain t-shirt, but yes, you can see it is on the longer side, and then it has the BTS like arirang logo on here. So yeah, I was honestly very, very excited that I was able to do the pickup for both this and the hoodie, because I knew that this was going to be like some of the most like sought after items for the tour. But I feel like thankfully, because they're doing like the member jerseys, a lot of people actually went for that instead, which me personally, like, I know myself and I think the jersey is cute, and I would have maybe tried for Jimin's, but I know that I'm not a jersey person and I potentially never going to wear it, versus like this and the green hoodie, which I already wore while I was in Korea. I know I will get to wear this out and about, so I am excited to style this. I might wear this for like one of my other stops on the tour, but we'll see how that goes. As for non-clothing merch, I did buy the Army Bomb. I bought version 4, which is very exciting. Unfortunately, I did not get to use this well in Korea because of the rain, but I am excited to finally get to use this. I do have a whole video on this if you wanted to go check it out. I'm not going to go too much into detail today on this one. And then the last thing I bought was a lucky draw. I unfortunately was only able to get the one album. I bought this during day 1, but because it was raining, I only bought the one album so I could make sure it actually fit in my bag. And thankfully it didn't get damaged, any like water damage, because I did see people say that their albums and their merch from day 1 were damaged because of the rain. So for that, I am very grateful that mine didn't get damaged. And then for the last day, I actually tried to go back to purchase more albums, and I thought of getting just an extra set, so 2 albums. And if you bought the 2 albums, you got 3 photo cards. So I thought of buying that like set. So if you bought the set, you got 3 photo cards versus just buying the one album, you only got the 1 card. So I was like, okay, I already have 1 photo card, and then if I have 3 other cards, as you may or may not know, Jimin is my bias for BTS, and he is the member that I do collect for photo cards. So I thought, if I don't get to pull him with those 4 cards, then maybe I can try and like trade out one of the members that I do pull, or if I have any dupes or anything. But what I didn't know is that I knew they closed the area for like the album pickup because you had to place the order through Weavers. And so it just said that the album pickup closed at 6 p.m. and that you had to be, I think it was like 3 kilometers away from the venue to be able to place that pickup order. So once I got a bit closer to the venue, I want to say it was like 5 40 or so when I was trying to like place my order, and it said it was like sold out and it kept like erroring out. And I was like, interesting. So I got to like the pickup area outside of the venue in Goyang, and turns out that like the last order for the albums you could place was actually at 5:30. So they were only waiting to basically go through like the last of the pickups that they had left, and I was not able to buy more albums. So now I will show you my pool. So I already know who this is, and I am keeping him because he is my second bias. But 1, 2, 3, ta-da! So we pulled Namjoon for the Korean lucky draw, which is really, really cute. So this was my pool. And the album I potentially will not open for now because I still have a set of arirang albums that is currently at my kpop. So I might just wait for those and kind of go from there. But yeah, this was everything that I bought for the arirang tour merch. I genuinely feel like I had quite a bit of self-control while I was there. I do kind of wish I would have been able to buy that set of albums, but other than that, I feel like I was able to get the main like two things that I really wanted for the tour, which were these two, and then I was able to get the Army Bomb, which I was also pretty excited about because I'd missed both the restocks for the US Weaver site, and then I know they released it in Target, but fortunately all the Targets near me sold out release day and we never had restocks. So I just wanted to talk about my experience. So this was actually the first time I was seeing BTS that up close in Korea. This was my first floor experience, and it was definitely an experience because that was the day that it was raining when I got to the venue, and I was like in line waiting for the Army Zone PCs. I'll actually show you right now. So let's go through the Army Zone PCs while I continue talking about my experience. So yeah, I was in line for these when like it was already kind of raining. It was more so like drizzling, but it was around that time when it like really started pouring rain. And I want to say I was close to getting to like the end of the line or like getting my photo cards when the sound check started for the show. So I was like outside and I could hear them, and I don't know, in the back of my head I had this like weird feeling of like hopefully I won't get that like notifications saying that, you know, the concert's like postponed or canceled because of how heavy the rain was. Like it genuinely was raining so hard. So when everything just kind of, you know, kept going as normal, I was like, okay, we're doing this. This was my first experience, and all the bags are actually going to be the same. It just says goyang, and look at him, he looks so good. This was my first experience being in like just like a concert where it just like never stopped raining. And I know there was like a lot of discourse online right after the fact saying that, oh, why aren't they doing like heavy choreography, or oh, why aren't doing like X, Y, and Z, or like, oh, this group did this. But in all honesty, I think the show, especially now that they're in like the North American part of their tour, the show is such a fun show to watch, and it is so enjoyable, and seeing all of the members just genuinely having so much fun on stage without having to necessarily worry about having to do super heavy choreography. It just like warms my heart. And I don't know, I think if you were to go to a BTS concert, like, yes, choreography is part of it, and I think that made some of their other tours like pretty special too. But then there's other aspects to this show and this tour that make it that much more special, if that makes sense. Also, like, it is their big comeback tour, so I also didn't like expect them to have the same like energy and stamina that they did when they were like in their early 20s, because people, people grow, people change. And it was an incredible show. All 7 of them are insane performers. And it was so funny because right next to me I had this like really sweet K army, and we were both like dancing and having like the time of our lives in the rain. And yeah, it was just like such a magical experience. And if you already saw or are seeing BTS on tour, I hope you had or you have the best time ever. Enjoy the show. It genuinely is such like a fun experience, and it is so different from other concerts, even like K-pop concerts. Seeing BTS is just like no one else. I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you've liked this video, and I will see you very soon. Bye.